Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're asking the question, should Thailand follow Slovenia's suit in making cash a right? I thought about titling this, should Thailand and the USA do it? But then I remembered that, oh yeah, the USA has this thing called the Constitution, which unfortunately our politicians seem to have wanted to ignore for a prolonged period of time. And in the Constitution, it actually does stipulate the gold and silver money. So the Founding Fathers actually dealt with this. It's just we, their progeny, who have been errant and ended up in a situation where, you know, this global fiat debt-based money is what's driving all of our economies. Now, that being said, the issue of cash is something I've been talking about at length really since this government came in. I wasn't talking about any of this stuff. And this is the irony for people that don't live here. 9 years under a military government, and you know, frankly, we didn't see any of this World Economic Forum nonsense. I mean, it was so acute. It was such an acute change that even Bangkok Post, you know, commented on it, that the old military government didn't host all this sort of, again, World Economic Forum, whatever you want to call it, New World Order, globalism. And again, I'm not anti-internationalism. I'm an internationalist in like the 1920s sense of the term, insofar as I believe in nation states. I believe they should interact with one another, although I believe they should interact in much the way that former Representative Ron Paul would talk about, which is we need to trade with these people. You know, we don't need to go to war with everybody. We don't need to engage in entangling alliances. You know, everybody just trade, do business with each other, get on with your lives. You know, let's get on with it. And so, I don't know. I'm just in the position at my point, or this point in life, where this battle against cash is one of the creepiest things I've ever seen, because it really is the ball game. It really is all over at the point at which you can't just have a piece of paper in your pocket that nobody can track and trace, that you can walk down to the local 7-Eleven or Cash Bodega or whatever and buy an ice cream and get on with your day. You know, the moment that they infect everybody's transactions and we lose all privacy associated with it, I mean, what kind of world is that? Do we want to live in that world? Do we want to live in the world where through the digital wallet they tell us what we can and cannot buy and where we can spend our money and where we have to be? That's what they wanted to do, okay? And I articulated this completely, and I was citing things like Bangkok Post as sources because the government was actually saying that about the digital wallet. You know, meanwhile, Slovenia seems to be on the right track. Thought of making this video after reading a recent posting on X by Camus. It's under @newsstart_2024. Quoting directly, but 6 days ago, something huge happened that flips the narrative. On November 21, 2025, Slovenia became the first EU country ever to write the right to pay with cash into its constitution. 67-1 vote. Cash is now officially protected as legal tender and a parallel payment system, even as the rest of the EU pushes harder into traceable digital money. Good on you, Slovenia. Good thinking. You know, and frankly, much as you're going to find how, you know, when and if this liquidity crisis or whatever the next rug pull from the international banking set comes, you're probably going to find yourself in much a similar position as Thailand found herself in when the 97 financial crisis happened and the aftermath of that, which is your parallel economy, your gray economy or informal economy or black market, as again, these people who want to track, trace, and tell us all what to do would call it. That economy is going to be the one that saves you when the artificial, illiquidized, dried up system fails. We saw this in the aftermath of 97. If you study the Thailand financial crisis and then sort of the aftermath, you know, it wasn't the financial sector that brought Thailand's economic prowess back to the foreground. It was the standard real economy that ran on cash, that was just people interacting in a natural manner economically. That was what brought basically this economy back here in Thailand. And the point I'm trying to make with this is I really hope folks here in Thailand take a page from Slovenia, because I'm starting to see more and more Starbucks everywhere. I won't use Starbucks. I won't buy a Starbucks for anything, okay, now, because there's so many of these places that I walk into, oh, no cash, no cash. What gives you the right to say that? That's legal tender. That's the coin of the realm here. How are you able to say, oh, no, we don't want that? I should do a deep dive on that and figure out if it's legal. Audience, if you're out there and you have time, I do have a day job, by the way, and you want to look that up, it might not be a terrible idea. I don't like seeing this. Big corporate, all of this supranational set is dictating to us that they don't want us using cash. Well, you know what? You're not in charge of us, Starbucks, and you're going to find people are just not going to go along with that, as we're seeing in Thailand. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. We'll certainly be keeping you updated on this channel as the situation evolves.